Welcome to the Chop Seat, where Braves country meets the big leagues. Your host Vic is here to break down everything from truest part to the top of the standings across the league. From walk-offs to wild trades, this is your seat for everything baseball, but a heavy dose of chop. So grab your glove and settle in, because the Chop Seat is open.
Welcome to the Chop Seat. I'm your host Vic, and the Chop Seat is your favorite place for Braves baseball and the rest of the action from across the league. Today is Friday, June 13th, and we're going to catch up with the action that happened from Monday on till today. And it was actually a good week for the Braves, a good series that they had. We're going to look into that. We're going to look into the action with your favorite teams as well. I know all of you guys are not Braves fans, unfortunately, but we'll talk about your teams and how they performed. And we're going to look at the upcoming series for our Atlanta Braves. So we're going to get right into the action, and we're going to head into our first segment.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes.
It's time for Tomahawk Takes, where we dive into the action from the previous Braves series. And Tomahawk Takes is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code CHOPSEAT for $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. Again, use code CHOPSEAT, CHOPSEAT, for $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. So the series that we just had for our Atlanta Braves, it was against the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Braves finally win a series. They snapped the 7-game losing streak that they were on after getting swept by the Giants out in San Francisco. And before that, they got swept by the Diamondbacks at home in Atlanta. So they snapped that 7-game losing streak. They finally snapped a 6-straight series losing streak as well, because they ended up taking 2 out of 3 from the Brewers on the road, which was very, very good to see. Good offensive wins in both of those W's. And we'll get into the action. The first game, it was started by Chris Sale. He went 7 1/3. He allowed 1 run, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts. It took him 103 pitches to do that. He is now 4-4 with a 2.79 ERA. He took on Aaron Savali for the Brewers. He went 4 2/3. He gave up 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. He got the L in this one. He is now 1-2 with a 4.91 ERA. The action started for the Brewers in the bottom of the third. Joey Ortiz, he doubles, and then he scores on a William Contreras RBI single. Our old friend William Contreras, he continues to do well out in Milwaukee. The top of the fifth, the Braves, they answer. They take the lead because Raul Acuna Jr., La Bestia, he hits a solo home run. And Austin Riley, he doubles. And then Matt Olson, he follows with a 2-run homer off of DL Hall. That made it 3-1 Atlanta. And then the top of the eighth, it was quiet until then because Eli White, he gets into when he hits a 2-run homer to make it 5-1 Atlanta. Bottom of the eighth, Raisel Iglesias, he comes in with 1 on and 1 out. Some of you guys might have been nervous because I was having flashbacks of all his appearances, but he actually did well. He gets out of the inning with no damage. He gets out of it cleanly. Good to see from him. Hopefully he gets more opportunities where he's able to ease back into that closer role, get his confidence up, giving him opportunities with a big lead. That'll be good to get him where he needs to be. So hopefully he's able to do that in this series coming up as well. But then in the top of the ninth, Marcell Ozuna, he played Stu with a single to make it 7-1. That was the ball game because in the bottom of the ninth, Dylan Lee, he came in and he was going after it. He was not playing around. He comes in and he pitches a perfect 9th inning, and that's your ball game. The Braves win the game 7-1. This was one of those good, complete victories that you know this team is capable of. The starting pitching continues to be good. The bullpen did what they had to do in the offense. They kept the line moving. They were putting good at-bats together. You saw some power. You saw some not small ball, but, you can't only score with the homers, and that's exactly what they did in this game. They put some hits together, hitting doubles, singles, scoring runners, and then a little bit of power also to go in there, mix that in there. That is how this offense succeeds. And it was good to see. Also, Ozzy Albies, he had his 1,000th career hit in this one. That was good to see from him. And he actually had a 24 on base streak going on after this one. It ended in the next game, but very impressive to see from Ozzy. A 24 game on base streak. Good to see from him. In game two, so you saw game one. And game two, the offense has to go down because that's how this team has played. You think they're going to get on a roll after you saw them, how they performed in game one. But if you've been watching these games, that means the next game, the offense is going to be non-existent. And that's exactly what happened. Grant Holmes, he pitched this one. He went 5 1/3, 3 runs, 3 earned, 5 hits, 3 walks, and 9 Ks. Not the best performance, but he still only gave up 3 runs. So he kept us pretty much in the game, gave the offense a chance. That's what you want from your starters. He is now 3-5 with a 4.07 ERA. And for the Brewers, impressively, it was Quinn Priester. He went 6 innings, 1 run, 7 hits, no walks, and 7 Ks. Good outing from him. He is now 4-2 with a 3.65 ERA. And Miguel, he picks up save number 13 for the Brewers. And this is how the action went down in the bottom of the third. Jackson Churriel, this guy is such a good player. He opens up the scoring with a 2-run homer to dead center. That was an absolute shot. He cranked that one. Top of the fifth, it was Nick Allen. He gets on with a double, your 9-hole hitter. And then he's driven in by Ronald Acuna Jr. He singles him in. That made it 2-1. 2-1. Acuna in this game, I think he had 3 hits total in this game. He kept getting on base. And actually, in this moment, after he drove in Nick Allen, I believe it was either 1 out or no outs. I can't recall at the moment. And you're thinking, the heart of the order is going to come up. They're definitely going to at least tie the ball game, if not take the lead. But that was not it. 2 through 6 hitters were non-existent in this one. I believe they were like 0 for 15 the whole entire game. And that's the flaw when it comes to this lineup. If these guys aren't hitting, the bottom of the order is not going to carry the offense. That's just the way this team is constructed right now, currently. And Acuna, he could only do so much, especially if the guys behind him, the 7, 8, 9-hole hitters, are not getting on. Acuna is not going to be able to, do some damage since he's in the leadoff spot. He's going to do like he did here. He's going to drive in one or hopefully hit a homer with someone on base. But that's about it. Or he's going to hit a solo jack. That's the most he can do, especially, like I said, if the 2 to 6 hole hitters are not performing. But anyways, he was trying to set the table, but the rest of the hitters were not there to drive him in. But again, it's good to see that Acuna is doing his thing, which is good. He continues to be, or try to be, a catalyst in this order. In the bottom of the 6, Jake Bauers, he hits a solo shot. That makes it 3-1 Brewers. The bottom of the 7th, Aaron Bummer, he gets in a jam. Bases are juiced, and they're loaded. Jose Ruiz came in after being picked up, I believe, through waivers. He came in, so imagine this. You're coming in, bases loaded, no outs. That's a big, big jam to be in. And I saw people going off on him on Twitter and other platforms. I think he did a tremendous job. Think about it. You're coming in, bases loaded, no outs. You're thinking you at least about to give 2-3 runs up. You got no outs. It's not like you're coming in and getting just 1 out. He was able to strike out Jackson Churriel, which was, Jackson Churriel. He's always, able to do some damage. So that was impressive to see from him. Then he hit William Contreras with the bases loaded, like I said. So that made it 4-1. But then he was able to get the rest of the outs. So he escaped with no further damage. Again, just giving a 1 run with no outs and the bases loaded. That's a pretty good outing to me. That's pretty impressive. But anyways, that was the game in that one. That was 4-1. Brewers win this one. That's the ball game. And then game 3. Game 3 was a great, great performance by Spencer Schwellenbach. He pitched a complete game, 9 innings pitched, 2 runs, 2 earned, 5 hits, no walks, 9 strikeouts. That was his first career complete game. He's now 5-4 with a 3.11 ERA. He's starting to get into that form we saw him last year, and if he does, that's going to be a problem for the offenses that he faces. He went up against Chad Patrick. He went 5 innings, 5 runs, 7 hits, 8 Ks, 3 walks. He took the L. He's now 3-6 with a 3.25 ERA. And the action started just like this because in the top of the second, Michael Harris II, he hits a 2-run homer with Ozuna on. That made it 2-0. And then Drake Baldwin in his home state with two on, he hits an RBI single. That scored Nick Allen. Ronald Acuna Jr., he went to third on that one. That was it for the action there. Bottom of the second, the Phillies, they try to answer right back because Rhys Hoskins, he hits a solo homer. That made it 3-1. Braves. Top of the fourth with Nick Allen on. Ronald Acuna Jr., there he goes. He hits a homer to left center field. That's number 6 of the season for him. Braves are up 5-1. Top of the seventh, Ozzie Albies, he singles to center field with Austin Riley on base. That plates him 6-1. Braves. Bottom of the eighth, Brewers score 1 on an Eric Haas RBI double, but pretty much that was it. That's the ball game. The Braves win this one 7-1. I'm thinking about the first game. They won this one 6-2. And that was a series win. They end up winning the rubber matchup. Good to be in the win column when it comes to these Atlanta Braves because, again, they had lost 6 series in a row. Last time they won a series was when I was actually there in person at Fenway Park, which was last month. That's pretty crazy to say. Really, really crazy to say. Ronald Acuna Jr., he was 5 for 12 in the series, 2 homers, 3 RBIs. Austin Riley and Matt Olson, a little power surge from them. You're going to need these guys to hit the way they did, except for game 2, in order to keep winning ball games. Jose Ruiz, he was clutch under pressure with the bases loaded and no outs. So the bullpen was pretty well preserved in this series because Chris Sale, he went 7 in the third. You only used Rysel and then Dylan Lee in that ball game. Game 2, obviously, you got Dylan Lee coming in and Jose Ruiz, but it wasn't too bad. And then game 3, Spencer Strider, he goes the distance. So the bullpen's able to get some rest, and they had a day off yesterday after that. So they should be, ready to go for this weekend series. So, again, it was a good series for the Braves. Hopefully they can keep it going. They're gonna have to start winning these series. You're going to have to start winning. You can't dig yourself in a deeper hole. And you got teams that are ahead of you. They're going to start playing each other now, especially this weekend. So this is the time and the chance for you to make some ground with these teams. We can't even look at the NL East, to be honest, right now. That's a long shot. That's a long shot. I think the Mets or the Phillies have that under control. So the Mets for now, maybe the Phillies make a comeback. They have plenty of time. But for now, you got to try to get over 500 and then see where you fare in the wild card race. So, again, just got to keep winning ball games, take it one at a time, and see how they go from there. But that was it for our Tomahawk takes, a quick one for today. Quick series recap. And now we're going to head into our next segment. If I could find the thing here. All right, here we go. Next segment.
It's time for the MLB.
Welcome to the MLB, where we catch up with the action from across the league. And we have some good matchups. We're going to start first with the Cincinnati Reds at the Cleveland Guardians. The Reds, they win game 1, 7-4. Wade Miley, he earned his first win since September 2023. He went 5 innings, allowing 3 runs, 5 hits, and 2 strikeouts. An encouraging comeback post Tommy John surgery. There's actually some news on him regarding the death of Tyler Skaggs. You guys might want to look into that one. To get more info. I'm not going to touch too much on it, but just wanted to throw that out there since we're on the MLB. Jake Fraley, he hit a solar homer in this one. He added multi-hit support, while TJ Friedl, Gavin Lux, Will Benson, and Connor Joe, they drove in runs. The Reds, they clinched the Ohio Cup with this win, their first cup in 11 years, and extended the winning streak to 4 games. Tuesday's game 2, the Reds, they win this one 1-0. Andrew Abbott, he threw a complete game, 3-hit shutout. the Reds' first complete game shutout in 4 years. It's been a while. He struck out 5 and walking just 1. The lone run scored in the 5th. Spencer Steer, he singled in. Will Benson off of Slate Ciccone. TJ Fredo, he made a highlight reel defensive catch, robbing extra bases, helping preserve the shutout. This win marked the Reds' 5th straight win in 7 games, and their first time above 500 since May the 3rd. And then game 3, trying to avoid the sweep, the Guardians, they do avoid it. They win this one 11-2. They storm back with a blowout. Guardians, Carlos Santana, he launched a grand slam. Coincidentally, on the 15th anniversary of his debut, part of a scary offensive outburst by the Guardians. And Nick Lodolo, he struggled for the Guardians, giving up 6 runs and under 5. But that was, for the Reds. They were able to capitalize on him. And Lane Thomas, he added a 3-run homer in the 6th inning. That completed the blowout for them. That was our first series. Then we had the Miami Marlins at the Pirates. The Marlins, they lose the first game 3-10. They come back and win the second one 3-2. And then the Pirates, they win the rubber matchup. They win the series 5-2. Andrew McCutchen, he hit a milestone homer. He hit number 241 of his career. That was a 3-run blast in the 5th. And he surpassed Roberto Clemente for 3rd on the franchise's all-time list. Next, we had the Philadelphia Phillies hosting the Chicago Cubs. The Phillies, they win game 1 on a walk-off in 11 innings. Otto Kemp, the rookie undrafted free agent, he logged his first MLB hits and delivered a key bunt to help set up Brandon Marsh walk-off RBI double, ending Phillies' 5-game skid. Game 2, the Cubs, they answer right back. The offensive prowess that they have, they win this one 8-4. Ian Happ, he smashed 2 of the Cubs' 4 homers in this game, marking his 16th career multi-homer game and finishing 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Also, Dansby Swanson, Braves legend, he hit a solo homer, and Michael Busch hit a homer as well. And the rookie Mick Abel, he took the loss, giving up 3 runs over 4 innings during his 3rd MLB start. And then to win the series, game 3 on Wednesday, the Phillies, they win this one 7-2. Impressive win against the Cubs. Kyle Schwarber, Alec Bohm, they each homered. Bohm, he went 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs. Jesus Luzardo, he has struggled in his last 2 starts, but he fired 6 shutout innings with 10 Ks, becoming the first Phillies pitcher with 4 double-digit K games in his first 15 starts since 1972. That was it. Congrats to the Phillies for winning this series against a very, very good Chicago Cubs team. Next, we go to the AL East. Tampa Bay Rays against the Boston Red Sox. The Tampa Bay Rays, they win this one 10-8. They spoil Roman Anthony, Boston's top prospect. They spoil his MLB debut. He had an error on a 111-mile-per-hour line drive. That led to a run. And though he knocked in the tying run, the Rays, they walked it off in the 11th with a key single by Jake Magnum and drew a bases-loaded walk by Junior Caminero. They didn't walk it off. They're on the road, but you know what I mean. Ian Seymour, he earned his first MLB win, pitching 2 spotless innings in extras. Impressive from him. The Boston Red Sox, they answer back in game 2. Roman Anthony, he records his first MLB hit and a two-run double in the first inning and made a nice sliding catch in right field. Lucas Giolito, he picked up his first win in 5 starts. He went 6 innings, 4 Ks. Greg Weissert, he closed it out for his first save. And then game 3, the Red Sox, they end up winning the series at home. They win it 4-3. The rookie, Marcelo Meyer, he homered twice, 2 solo shots. That's his first multi-homer game of his career. And then Jarren Duran and Abraham Toro, they delivered a go-ahead 5th inning homer as well. Walker Buehler, he started strong, 7 innings, 3 runs allowed, 7 Ks. And Aroldis Chapman, the Cuban Missile, that was save number 12 for him. Put a nail in the coffin. That's your series win. Then we go to the Blue Jays and the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals hosting the Blue Jays. They end up losing game 1 in 10 innings. The Blue Jays, Alejandro Kirk, he delivered a clutch go-ahead RBI double in the 10th inning and finished with 4 hits, including a homer earlier in the game. That was the ball game. Game 2, the Blue Jays, they win this one 10-9, a wild, high-scoring affair. Toronto, they pounded out 16 hits with Andres Jimenez hitting a 3-run homer. Alejandro Kirk, he's back. He added with a 2-run blast. Bo Bichette, 3 for 5. George Springer, Addison Barger, they put in some work as well. Chris Bassett, he went 7 innings, allowing 4 runs. Jeff Hoffman, not Hoffman. He closed it out with his 17th save, despite surrendering a late 3-run homer. And then game 3, the Blue Jays, guess what? They end up sweeping. They bring the brooms out. Ernie Clement, he homered and collected 3 hits. Spencer Turnbull, he debuted for Toronto in 2 scoreless innings. Jadiel Rodriguez, he earned his first MLB save. And that was how they brought out the brooms in St. Louis. Impressive to see them doing that on the road for the Toronto Blue Jays. And they've been playing some good ball as of late. Next series we had was your Athletics at the LA Angels. The Angels, they defend home field. They win the first one 7-4. They end up actually sweeping the Athletics. Athletics starting to slide down bad. They lost game 2 to a walk-off, 2-1. Roland Shanwell, he had his first career walk-off RBI single. That scored Joe Adell. And then game 3, it was another close one, 6-5 win by the Angels. Then we had a really, really, really good series in this one. It was the LA Dodgers facing the San Diego Padres. Anytime these guys face, you know it's going to go down. You know it's going to be a good series. So the first game, it went down into extra innings, a thrilling ending to this one. Andy Pages, he knocked in the go-ahead RBI double in the 10th, scoring Max Muncy. And Tommy Edman added an insurance run as well. Tanner Scott, he secured his 12th save of the season. Dustin May, he started strong, 5 innings, 6 runs allowed with the bullpen. They held it together. That was how they won game 1. The Padres, they come back and they have an offensive explosion. In game 2, they win 11-1. Manny Machado, he goes 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs. Luis Arias, he had 3 hits and scored 4 runs. Dylan Cease, this guy's been phenomenal out there. He tossed 7 shutout innings with 11 strikeouts. And the Dodgers, they were decimated by a pitching crisis. Matt Sauer, he allowed 9 earned runs over 4 2/3. And Kike Hernandez, he took the mound. He was out there for a while. He was wearing an oversized helmet while pitching in relief. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Pretty entertaining. And then game 3, trying to win the series. Who's going to win it? It was the Dodgers, the Padres. If you guessed the Dodgers, you were correct because they win this one 5-2 to Oscar Hernandez. He hit a decisive 3-run homer in the 6th inning, El Chino. And that was his 11th of the season. Michael Conforto, he follows that with a solo shot. That lifted the Dodgers to the series win. And then we had the Seattle Mariners at the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks, they win this one in walk-off fashion. It was Josh Naylor. He hits a walk-off grand slam in the 11th inning after they saw a 4-0 lead evaporate in the 9th inning. That's a heck of a way to win a ball game, walking it off with a grand slam. That hits different. That snapped a 3-game losing streak that they were on. Corbin Carroll, he homered in this one as well. Game 2, Diamondbacks, they win this one 10-3. Brandon Pfaadt, he was sharp through 5 scoreless innings before giving up 2 solo shots in the 6th inning. But Gabriel Moreno, he crushed a 3-run homer. And Corbin Carroll, he hits not 1, but 2 triples. And Arizona exploded for 5 runs in the 6th to seal the win again. This was a 10-3 victory for the Diamondbacks. Game 3. What do they feel like doing? They feel like sweeping a little bit. What they do, they bring the brooms out because they win this one 5-2. Eugenio Suarez, he delivered his 3rd grand slam of the season. Give me them points, boy, because he's on my fantasy team. He did that in the 6th inning. Eduardo Rodriguez, he went 6 1/3, using 2 runs, his 2nd longest outing since his injury. So, again, D-backs, they got swept. Now they sweep. And actually, before that one, they ended up sweeping the Braves. So it's kind of like It's either they sweep or they don't. That's the kind of pattern they've been on lately. But anyways, we got a few more series left, about 5 or 6. So the next one was the Detroit Tigers, best team in the AL. They win the first game 5-3. They beat the Orioles. They were on the road against the Orioles. Orioles, they bounced back. They win 10-1 game 2. Zach Eflin, he fired 6 2/3 of 1-run baseball. They were able to win that one. Jordan Westberg, he hits a 3-run homer. And that was a 7-run 8th inning for the Orioles. That's how they win the ball game. In game 3, the Tigers, they have their boy. They have their ace on the mound. Tarek Skubal, he delivered 7 shutout innings, allowing just 3 hits and striking out 6. He now has a 7-2 record with a 1.99 ERA. On offense, Parker Meadows, he launched a 3-run homer. Dylan Dingler, he added with a solo shot. Will Vest, he notched his 12th save as the Tigers win this one and the series. They win this one 4-1. Next, we go to Queens, the Washington Nationals at the New York Mets. The Mets, they walk off game 1. They were down 4-2 heading into the 8th. Juan Soto, he sparked the Mets with an RBI double, and then Pete Alonso, he tied it up with a key hit. In the 10th, your boy, the flying squirrel, Jeff McNeil, he delivers a clutch walk-off single, capping an epic rally by the Mets. This team seems to never give up since last year. These guys are scary, man. Scary, scary team. Never gives up. So that's how they win game 1. Game 2, it was an easy win for them because David Peterson, he hurls his first career complete game shutout. He limited Washington to 6 hits with 6 strikeouts. On offense, Brandon Nimmo, he hit a pair of solo homers. He's starting to feel it. Juan Soto, he added another long ball, and the Mets improved to 5 straight wins in this one, while the Nats, they continue their skid, scoring just 2 or fewer runs in 5 ball games in June. Then game 3, looking for the sweep, the Mets, they win. They bring out the brooms at home. They win this one 4-3. Kodai Senga started this one. He gave up just 1 hit over 5 2/3 before departing with a hamstring strain. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. You guys let me know. It might be hamstring. It might be, 6 to 8 weeks maybe. So they're going to have to figure how to take care of his spot on the rotation, but I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. The Mets are going to be fine. Jeff McNeil, he opened with a 3-run homer. Brandon Nimmo, he had another solo shot. And the Nats, they were trying to rally back in this one to avoid the sweep. They scored 3 runs in the 9th, but Edwin Diaz, he ends up shutting it down. He escapes the jam, and they end up sealing the sweep, a 4-3 victory again. The Mets extending a 6-game home win streak and now improved to an MLB best 45-24, the first team to 45 wins. I don't even think Mets fans thought this would happen. So, hey, good for them. And Juan Soto, he continues his hot stretch. He has a 378 batting average, an OPS of 1.336, 5 homers in 11 games. He's starting to get hot. So we'll see how they continue to do. Next, we have the Texas Rangers at the Minnesota Twins. The Rangers win 2 games when they score 16 runs. They scored 16-4 in game 1, 16-3 in game 2. They won those 2 in the series. They lost game 2, 2-6. Next, we go to Kansas City. Then your New York Yankees at Kansas City. They bring out the brooms because they win 10-2, 6-3, and then 1-0. Aaron Judge in game 1, he launched a 469-foot bomb. That marked his 3rd longest in the majors this season. Austin Wells, he drove in 5 runs with a 3-run homer and 2 singles. Clark Schmidt, he allowed just 2 hits over 6 innings, earning his 6th win of the season. The Yankees, they amassed 16 hits and capitalized on Kansas City's defensive miscues. Max Fried, my boy, he's now 9-1 with a 1.84 ERA. This has to be the best season he's had so far in his career. This guy is – why you didn't pitch like that in ATL, man? Like, come on. You did good here and there, but you usually had 1, 2 good starts, and you had 2 bad ones. 3 good starts, you had 1 bad one. This year, man, you've been on fire for the Yankees. And anyways, it's good to see. Game 2, Aaron Judge, he homered for the 3rd consecutive game. He's on a tear. This dude's having an impressive career. MVP, just give him the MVP award now. He's leading the league in batting average and RBIs. He's hitting for power. It's just crazy to see. I think what's he hitting now? Maybe like 390 or something like that. It's incredible the kind of season he's been having. But anyways, like I said, the Yanks, they bring out the brooms. They sweep the Kansas City Royals on the road. Next, we have the Chicago White Sox at the Houston Astros. Game 1, White Sox, they actually win this one 4-2. The Astros, they bounce back, and they end up winning the next 2 ball games, 10-2 in Game 2, and then 4-3 in Game 3. They get the series win. And then the final series we had, San Francisco Giants at the Colorado Rockies. They make quick, easy work. The Giants rally in Game 1. They rally in the 9th. They were trailing 5-2. They say, let's go, let's come back. They score 4 in that one, and then that was the ball game 6-5. Willie Adames, he hit a 2-run homer, breaking an 0-for-19 slump. Casey Smith, he hits his first career home run, and then Mike Yastrzemski, he delivered the go-ahead RBI single. Camilo Doval, he picked up save number 10, and Kyle Harrison, he allowed 3 runs over 5 innings. Game 2. Late game heroics again. They score 4 runs in the 8th and 3 in the 9th to secure the win. That's your Giants. They win again 10-7. And then the final game, trying to sweep the Giants, and they're up. But guess what? The Rockies, they have some fight in them. They answer back. They end up walking this one off. And guess who walked it off? Our old friend, Orlando Arcia. He walked it off with a 2-run single. That's the ball game. And that's how they avoid the sweep. And we're going to talk about the Rockies in a few. Before we do that, just news around the league. Like I had mentioned earlier, the Wade Miley, Tyler Skaggs news. You're going to want to look at that. And then play ball weekend. That's taking effect this weekend. Major League Baseball is hosting play ball weekend from June 13th through the 15th, featuring over 200 events across 6 continents to inspire participation in baseball and softball worldwide. So that's what's going on. And so that's it for the MLB. Everybody's caught up. Actually, before we move on to the next segment, we got some matchups to talk about that are going on over the weekend. We had 2 series start yesterday. It's going to be a 4-game set for these teams. It's the St. Louis Cardinals and Milwaukee. Milwaukee wins that one 6-0. And then another 4-game series, it's the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs, they end up winning Game 1 3-2. And then the rest of the 3-game sets that are starting tonight, so Toronto Blue Jays, they're going to be at Philly, playing the Phillies. Miami Marlins at Washington, D.C., facing the Nationals. The LA Angels are facing the Baltimore Orioles. The Detroit Tigers, they're hosting the Cincinnati Reds. Tampa Bay Rays, they're going up to Queens to face the New York Mets. Another series that we got to keep an eye on, it's the New York Yankees at the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. We got the Chicago White Sox at the Texas Rangers, the Athletics at Kansas City, Minnesota Twins at Houston. Want to keep an eye on here, San Diego Padres at Arizona Diamondbacks, Cleveland at Seattle, and another one to keep an eye on, San Francisco Giants at the LA Dodgers. So about 4 series, in my opinion, that you got to keep an eye on. Toronto at Philly, New York Yankees at Boston, San Diego at Arizona, and San Francisco at the LA Dodgers. So make sure you keep an eye on those, and make sure you keep an eye on your favorite team, man. Because, one day they might be up, one day they might be down. Just ask me. I'll tell you how that goes. But anyways, let's go into our final segment.
It's time for your Braves forecast.
It's time for the Braves forecast, where we look into the upcoming series for our Atlanta Braves. And that's a series against, guess who? The worst team in baseball, the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies come into this one being 13-55. They're going to face the Braves. They're 29-38. First pitch is scheduled for tonight, 7:15 p.m. Starting pitching for tonight is going to be Herman Marquez. He's 2-8 with a 7 flat ERA. Bryce Elder, he's going to be taking the mound. He's 2-3 with a 4.08 ERA. Coming off his best start of his career, against the Giants that just passed. He didn't get the win in that one. But again, hopefully he's able to repeat that performance. The Rockies, they're coming off a walk-off win against the Giants. So maybe they're looking to stay hot, have some fight in them. The Braves, they've struggled offensively, failing to hit a homer last time they played the Rockies at Coors Field, where the ball usually flies. So they failed to show some power in that series. They were able to win 2 out of 3 games against the Rockies out there, but this is a series where you kind of got to sweep these guys. Yeah, it's hard to sweep, I get it, but you kind of got to sweep them. You can't lose a game, and you better not lose 2 games, and you better not get swept, because that would be embarrassing. This is literally probably going to end up being the worst team in baseball. And we've been looking at, maybe the rest of the league, especially our NL East rivals, the Mets and the Phillies, where we're like, they've had an easy schedule, yada, yada, yada. But fact of the matter is they've taken care of business when they've been playing these lowly teams. To be honest, they've been taking care of business. The Rockies have gotten swept by the Mets. I think the Phillies swept them as well. So you got to do the same. If you're going to, stand out as a good team, you can't be losing out to these teams that you have more talent than. It's just the way it is. I know it's baseball, anything can happen, but you got to make this happen. You got to at least take 2 out of 3. But I really, really do think you got to sweep. You sweep this one, you're going to be 6 games under 500. And look into our next Braves forecast. After this series, you're going to face the Mets for the first time this series. For the first time this season. You're going to be at home hosting them. So you got to try to have some momentum coming into that series, because from the looks of it, if you keep playing the way you're playing on and off, these guys are going to come in. They're going to just bury you. They're going to just bury you. So you got to get some momentum rolling, start playing, more consistent baseball, especially offensively, because when these guys come in, you want to defend home field, and you want to, be able to match up well against them. So we'll see. Hunter Goodman for the Rockies, he's been impressive. He has a 306 average and 8 homers away from Coors Field this season. This guy's good, man. I saw him up here when he was with the Hartford Yard Goats. So this guy, he has some talent. He's going to be a good player to keep an eye on for the Colorado Rockies. And Bryce Elder, he has a 3-0 record with a 1.11 whip in 3 career starts against the Rockies. So it's a team he kind of likes facing. So we'll see if he's able to keep that trend going. Saturday's game is going to be scheduled for Chase Dollander. He's 2-6 with a 6.85 ERA. He's a first round pick in the 2023 draft. He's promised. I saw him last time. He has a good arm. He should be a good matchup against Spencer Strider. He'll be pitching for the Braves. He's 0-5 with a 5.40 ERA. He's looking to get his first win of the season. I'm still trying to see if they could put him to close out games, especially depending on how this start goes. I think you got to put him in the closer role, guys. Alex Anthopoulos, put him in the closer spot, bro. Just listen to me. We'll see how this start goes, like I said. But if it doesn't go if he doesn't dominate, I really do think you should keep an eye on that. And then Sunday's game, that's going to be Austin Gomber. He was activated from the 60-day IL. He's going to be facing our stopper, our ace, Chris Sale. He's 4-4 with a 2.79 ERA, as I mentioned earlier. He continues to be a dominant force in the Braves rotation. So that is the series that we're going to be having this weekend starting tonight. Make sure you keep an eye on those Braves. You really, really got to sweep. You got to try and beat. I feel like if we're maybe 2 or 3 games under 500 by the All-Star break, I think we're in good shape. But if you find yourself in this same spot where you're 9 games, 7 games under by the time the All-Star break comes, I don't think we have a chance, to be honest. But again, this is a good, perfect time to get the ball rolling. You got the worst team in baseball coming into town for 3 games. And while you have teams that are ahead of you that are going to be facing each other For example, like I said, the San Francisco Giants at the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks at the Padres. So you're going to have a chance to make some ground, catch up a little bit if you are able to win these ball games and win this series and hopefully sweep the Colorado Rockies. So that's it for the Braves forecast. That's it for this episode of the Chop Seat. Thank you for continuing to tune in. Follow the Chop Seat Pod. That's the Instagram handle at the Chop Seat Pod. Follow on Twitter or X at the Chop Seat. And also, if you want to follow on YouTube at the Chop Seat as well. Don't forget to use code Chop Seat for SeatGeek for $20 off your first purchase. And send any takes you guys got, any concerns, any suggestions for the show. Send them in through any of those platforms or even through the email at thechopseat@gmail.com. So if you love baseball, make sure you continue to share this show so it can continue to grow. And we're still working on having our first guest for the chopping it up segment. We got to debut that soon. Hopefully, at least by the end of the summertime, we're able to debut it. We're still working on that. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your host, Vic, and we will catch you next time.